only friend!
We're back for the first week of September 2012. I cannot believe it has already arrived. Can you?
Time moves forward. So we say.
So we say. Some would disagree.
Yes.
Like that guy's tattoo on his face this morning.
Oh, yes.
Saw.
Time is not real.
Time is not real. Loyalty is.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
Deep.
Recently, City Commission said okay to, I think, $500,000 worth of building out new office space in the Tech Town area. I'm not sure exactly which building, so I won't get into that. But it doesn't really matter because it's $500,000 on office space the city is spending.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they would argue we need this to get businesses in here.
Mm-hmm.
And well, that's a lot of money. And another story came out this week saying that they had spent like $5 million over the last.
Over 13 years.
Over 13 years. Not an enormous amount.
No, and it's
really
not. And yeah, it involves tearing down some old houses, building some condos, which I guess have been successful. They sold out the ones they built downtown, which is good.
Yes, it is.
They have goals to have more condos, which, it's you need to attract all class of people, all classes, not just wealthy people that can drop $175,000 on a condo. So I think that there's a little bit too much targeting.
That's been some of the complaints of that. That the money hasn't been properly distributed as far as development throughout other areas of the city.
Right. They use some of that money to tear down some abandoned houses, yet they're not putting up reasonably priced housing in its place in some of these broke down neighborhoods. They're focusing a lot on the downtown with the condo.
Well, that's an argument. It's a developer's argument, is that if the downtown is not solid, then the rest cannot be solid.
Well, I would say that just having high-end housing in a downtown area is not solid, doesn't make a city solid. I think having the necessary amenities that people need in an area, like markets, we've talked about this before, small groceries,
schools,
not a Walmart, not a Meijer, not a Kroger necessarily. A couple small markets. Laundry.
Could be family run.
Service.
Small markets with produce section, meat, cheese, and some spices.
Yeah. You can do it. That's easy.
Yeah.
I think if you have those things, that's going to draw people downtown. That's going to make a core.
Basic living amenities.
Yeah.
And people have talked about a grocery store for downtown, and I've heard people say, well, we're working on it. It might be problematic if I'm looking to go into a certain area to see, wow, it's been years for someone to be able to get like a small grocery store like you would see, in some larger cities. You see a lot of small ones
that are very efficient use of
space.
space.
like a small. It's almost like this little small house type space, kind of like the Halal used to be over on Wayne Avenue. You see a lot of stuff like that.
Efficient use of stacking.
You don't need giant, big box spaces. A small grocery store
that has a lot of.
But that's not a cheap, high
convenience
fructose corn syrup, malt liquor selling, horrible produce. Mostly just horrible nutritional content. We don't need that. We need someone, a small Dorothy Lane market that's not just all, super high priced, specialty.
But something that offers reasonably healthy foods at a reasonable price. You can do that. You can offer people healthy choices.
Yeah, and we could work with they could work with urban farms and other local farmers to provide some of the produce. So yeah.
So yeah,
needs,
I think those things need to be focused on, in addition to housing, and affordable housing, not just catering to wealthy people.
yeah, because if you have a downtown area and you're living down there, but you have to drive to
A
Kettering
suburb, yeah.
or wherever to go, there's not any kind of advantage. I'm like, well, if I have to, drive to the suburbs to get everything, I might as well live in the suburbs.
Well, a lot of people have that mentality.
Yeah, well, that's there's certainly,
And
some logic in that.
downtown has that stigma of, it has a bad rap for people. People are scared. And then there's the other side that people are like, there's nothing down there. So, but why should I go there? Now, there are some things. We have some really good restaurants. So that scene is looking pretty good.
There's baseball, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And the entertainment stuff is
something
great.
about the baseball thing in the building. That's right across. It sits right. It's a newer office building. It's right across from the stadium. There's been a restaurant down there, and it's empty. And I had said one day, I was like, why couldn't a BW-3s?
People love that.
People love BW-3s. It would be right across from the baseball stadium, giving them how many dates a year that they would be packed. Totally packed out, and they'd probably pack the place out the rest of the year.
Anytime. Just people love to go there for
BW-3s
sports.
because of the big TVs and the sports. It's a natural fit.
Yeah.
Someone in the economic development department, I would be on the phone saying, yo, BW-3s, I'd like some wings and a meeting with the CEO to come down here and show you this awesome space so we can really make you money and employ some people. So, yeah, that's my idea. There's one of them.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
And that coincides
We're
with
not totally against using chains to bring people around.
No,
we don't want
completely.
We don't want everything to be a green. We don't want everything to be like a suburb where all you have are basically chain options. We don't want that. But they have their place.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because people love them. People know what they're gonna get when they go there. We talked about this before. That those types of places will bring people down, and then they'll see what other stuff is going on, and be like, "Oh,
there's a lot of stuff, stuff that's been going on." There's really nowhere in the Dayton area that can compare to the events that downtown has. I mean, not even close. They try to. In
none of the suburban.
It's always going to
gatherings.
be a pale comparison.
Or as popular, yeah.
Yeah, and just give it up because that ain't happening. Also, another idea we came up with, and a lot of people aren't going to like this one, but I think it's more practical and it would work out better for the development of downtown, is to move that Webster Street Market into a more open space downtown. Because one of the things, Webster Street's been a success. It does bring people down. But it kind of brings them down to a really isolated place.
Yeah.
And if you go there, a large percentage of the people in there are coming in from Beaver Creek, Centerville, some other place. They're not city folk. But the market itself is kind of a letdown. The first time you go, you're excited about, oh my gosh, we've got this place. You can get, cheeses and organic groceries, but it's really like this, as we talked about before.
One single
and
aisle.
You go down one aisle and then basically come down the next.
Turn around and come back.
And you're done. And you go in the other building. I've been there. It's really kind of sparse, some of the offerings. And so why not city leaders take a 7-hour drive up to Toronto, check out the St. Lawrence Market in Toronto. It's in a really big space, like open space. So why don't our city commissioners take a 7-hour drive up to Toronto, check out the St. Lawrence Market, which was in an old building.
Like an old warehouse.
Yeah.
Or an old industry.
Yeah, it's kind of an old industrial type building. but it was big open space. And, it had vendors all over the place.
Yeah, it was like a circle pattern with like with different things in the center.
Sure. And they had like entertainment in the
edges.
center and, different places.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you weren't like this. That's my biggest thing. For a claustrophobic type person, Second Street, the Webster Street Market is like a little, you're ready to go when I'm done. And so, and as well,
Yeah, it's only open 2 days a week.
Yeah, and moving that downtown to where there is more, there's more people working downtown
and
than
walking
there is
around.
And walking around than
Yeah.
there is out in the Webster Street
Yeah.
area where it's at.
Yeah.
Which I think just ensure that it can maybe
It's-
operate more than just a couple days a week.
Right.
You've got people living down there now. They're wanting that, so maybe that Webster Street Market might be a piece to kind of move it over. And that building over there where Webster Street is, those would make great condos. Or it's a great building, so
Yeah.
there's no reason why it couldn't be
Used for something
used.
else.
But I think you move that
more
market
towards the center.
into the center. The old Foundry building is a building that would be, I think, fantastic for something like that, because it's really large inside, and it's got that big, it's kind of a cavernous old foundry,
Yeah.
from back in the day. So
Yeah.
there's a winner.
Yeah,
and,
I think if we had, a 7-day-a-week market like that, the St. Lawrence market is huge. It's like 3 floors or something. We can't sustain that here right now at this point. But I think that something along that same line that's open every day, and it had sections where you could get grains, like when you think about buying the bulk foods. That you could go. They had sections where there were canned food. It was an actual market. You could get anything you needed at that market, pasta, jar, whatever. So I think that would be totally awesome to have, near the center
you've got those
of the
vendors.
city.
They're going 3 days a week at that market now. I think if you can move it into a more centralized location.
You could do it 6 days a week, maybe be closed on Sunday. But during the week when there's people, there's tons of traffic.
There's a lot more. Well, I wouldn't say there's tons of traffic, but there's a lot more than there is over on the Webster Street area during the week.
Right. There's more.
And
there's
I think
more.
could even give that piece to downtown that we're talking about those amenities, like basic living type stuff. Like, I need to go get some food.
Right.
I don't want to drive 20 miles to get it.
Right.
If I have to drive 20 miles to get it, then it's not really any kind of advantage
efficient.
living
Yeah.
in that central core. And so, move that. And then you've got, I think, a lot of wow, we got a baseball team, we got a big market. And another thing that I think we could do is maybe build we've got some empty space, put in a soccer field down there where people could play, soccer teams could just play intramural type stuff. Or,
the city's doing something with world soccer. Wasn't there something?
Yeah, there's a tournament going on, but I'm talking about just actually putting some sort of there's some space down there now. Green space, where
Like an open public space.
an open type public, so you could for people to throw frisbee. We've got that now, kind of where the old Sears building was. There's behind, I think, Aquarius. There's that big open grass field. They have some events on there. But take care of that grass. It's real sparse and kind of crappy.
Yeah.
Get someone to really take care of it. Get it thick, or put some sort of maybe AstroTurf type thing. That might be a little too expensive for the city.
Yeah.
But, to get a field of play.
Yeah.
Yeah, an open field of play downtown. That would be I think, another amenity.
Yeah.
And you've got Riverskate, and you start seeing these things come in.
That's more of a draw. When people see that, they're like, oh yeah, I would like to live there.
I've done everything you asked me to do. I can't do it anymore. Can you purify me? Will you get out of my head and into my stomach?